Hello my dear students, I hope you people are fine. So we had actually completed with the typical configuration of computer system in our previous video. So just we'll have to revise 2 minutes and then we will start with a new chapter. So to make your computer system work for continuously, you need to have the power supply. Usually from whatever the electrical socket, the power supply will be in the form of alternating current. Okay, when the power supplies, when the power failure will be there, automatically your computer system gets to shut down. Okay, and whatever the data it has been there in the RAM, everything will be erased. Automatically there will be loss of data if you haven't saved it. So to avoid that, we need to see to that continuous power supply is provided to the computer system. So we had discussed about two power supply, that was one was SMPS, the other one was the UPS. SMPS is a kind of metal box wherein it provides the continuous power supply which has the capability to convert the alternating current to the direct current. Okay, so usually this SMPS appears at the rarer end of your computer system, and it also makes use of the power card plug, and it also uses the fan for the cooling process because continuous power supply will be provided to your computer system. Obviously your microprocessor will tend to generate enormous amount of heat. If enormous amount of heat would be generated, means your computer system may tends to malfunction. So to avoid that, a fan will be provided internally for the cooling process, which will be mounted on the microprocessor. Okay, this is what is SMPS. This SMPS will able to convert 250 volts of data to the alternating current to up to 5 to 12 direct current, and usually SMPS would come with the 300 to 450 watts or 500 watts, isn't it? Then we had discussed about something known as, that is UPS, uninterruptible power supply. Definition is very important. So UPS is a kind of power supply that includes the battery to maintain the power in the event of power failure. So in case of UPS, we have two types. One is the online UPS, the other one was the offline UPS. In case of online UPS, what happens? No matter the current is there or no, power supply is there or no, it will be providing the power supply to your computer system through the online UPS only. Even if the current is there also, you will be getting the power supply to your computer system from the online UPS. Now in case of offline UPS, what happens? If the current is there, you will not be getting any power supply from the UPS. Instead it keeps on charging. Whereas at the time when the power supply goes off, if there is a current failure, then your computer will switch to the offline UPS. Then you will be able to get the power supply from this offline UPS device. I hope you are able to understand. So this was the diagram I had explained, right? So this was the online UPS. See, online, this is the electrical socket and this is your computer system. So no matter current is there or no, there is a direct flow of electricity but has to pass through. Battery is nothing but this is the online UPS. It has to pass through the online UPS, so that there will be no any current failure at all if you are using the online UPS. Whereas online UPS, it will be on the other side, it will be continuously charging, as well as it will be providing you the power supply from the online UPS. See, alternating current we will be receiving. As the alternating current comes to the rectifier or the charger, okay, so it will convert that alternating current to the direct current, and at the meantime the charging will be happening to the battery of online UPS. Okay, then the same charge will be provided, then the same electricity power supply will be provided to your computer system. Think that current goes off. Once the current goes off, obviously there will be no power supply from the electrical socket, isn't it? In that case, what happened? The stored energy, the stored power supply in the battery will start giving its power supply to the computer system. This is how exactly the online UPS works. What about offline UPS? See, when there is, this is a green color line indicates normal power flow. When there is a power supply directly from the AC outlet, your electrical socket, from directly there will be electricity flow to your computer system, and meanwhile the same power also will be given to the battery. This is offline UPS battery. So there will be again a battery charger which will convert all the time. Batteries always get charged with the direct current, not by the alternating current. That is why we need the rectifier or the charger that will convert the alternating current to the direct current. Then the direct current will be provided to the battery for the charging purpose. Similarly, here also in case of offline, power supply will first come to the battery or the charger that will convert it will all happen internally only. Alternating current will be converted to the direct current. At one side, your battery of offline battery will be keeps on charging. Okay, when power supply is there, continuously power will be given to computer system. Suppose think that current goes off, then what happens? There will be no any direct supply of the current to your computer system. Instead, it takes certain 2 or 3 minutes to switch from this to your offline UPS. So there will be a delay. Then it will start accessing the power supply from the stored battery. Then what kind of data is being stored here? It is stored what? Direct current. The direct current will pass through the inverter, which will be converted back again to the alternating current, and then that current power supply will be given to the computer system. That is why there is a delay in the offline computer system, offline UPS system, which has been provided to the for the computer system for the power supply. I hope you are able to understand. Now here in this typical configuration, one question has been given. Explain the different components of motherboard. Okay, so we have already discussed this one of the previous question. It is almost we have, I think, 9 different components of motherboard we have discussed. Therein you need to at least explain any 7 at least you need to explain the different components of computer system what we have discussed. Now, yes, these are the different components of motherboards. Okay, so among this you can explain any 6. You can, 7 are there, any 6 you can explain from the exam point of view. In brief, it is 5 marks question. Okay, any 6. And then we have one more question that is explain the schematic diagram of motherboard. When they ask this question, you need to draw this diagram of motherboard and you need to explain about the north bridge and south bridge. That's it. You need not to explain all these things. At least a brief explanation should be given by the north bridge and south bridge, but you have to draw this diagram and you have to name all these things. Understood? Then we have the one more question as name the different components of north bridge. Name the different components of north bridge. Then you need to explain about in the north bridge what all components we are having. That is the CPU, RAM and the video card. You need to explain about the CPU, RAM and the video card are the components of the north bridge. And then what about the south bridge? South bridge we are handling the lower components of the computer systems like input output controller, yes, SATA, IDE, USB, Ethernet, any of these you need to name. So, and the definition of the like what is port, what is interface, okay, explain the types of power supply, what is cache memory. These are some of the important questions that you need to concentrate on. Mostly 1 marks will be asked from this typical configuration of computer system. So this was the end of the chapter. Okay, now let us move on to the new chapter, that is SQL. Okay, we will start with a new chapter, that is SQL, that is unit C, structured query language. SQL stands for structured query language. So this is almost about 7 marks, total weightage of this is 7 marks. Okay, so here in case of structured query language, firstly we need to know about some important definitions, that is what is data. Data is nothing but it's the collection of facts, figures, statistics which can be processed to a produce the meaningful information. As we know, data is nothing but any raw facts or the figures or the statistics which has to be processed. Then we should know what is information. What is information then? It is a computer processed data that provides you certain meaningful information, okay, is called as the information. That may represents again a facts, figures, statistics which may have the proper meaning. Then we can say it as a information. Example, okay, for example, if the marks obtained by the student in the examination is 80, okay, then 80 is what? It's a fact, okay. Then what is the information in that? For example, in the marks card of the student, total marks, percentage, result, they are the processed information. Just looking at the student has scored 80, you cannot make any decision. That's just a marks, okay. But when you will get the proper information out of it? By looking at his percentage, by looking at his average, by looking at his total marks, you can have a decision whether it's a first class, second class, third class or distinction. This is what was the information. So these are certain important terminologies that we need to know before we start with that is structured query language. Next, coming into the definition, that is the database. Now database is nothing but it's a collection of logically related data that is organized in a way that the data can be easily accessed, managed and updated. What is this database is? Suppose for an example, if a school is of school or college, if it is a 20-year-old, 20 years back it was been started. Right from the beginning of the year till now, they need to maintain the data, and if they are maintaining the data manually, is it possible to retrieve the maybe 10 years before one student's information I want? Then is it easy so that to get the manually? It's quite difficult and it's time consuming, right? So if at all if we need to if we go for the computer storage data, then obviously easily by the year wise I can easily retrieve within very less time. So I need to maintain those data systematically, okay, in the form of tables, so that whenever I require it, I may get access, I can manipulate it, I can change the contents, I can even update. So that process of storing the data in an appropriate manner in the form of table, okay, so that can be easily accessed, managed and updated, then that terminology is called as the database. I hope you are understanding. Database is nothing but it's a collection of logically related data. Why? What is this logically related data means? Now when I store the student information in the table, that what kind of data they all, maybe around 10 records have stored, that all the data within that particular student table all are related to each other. Hence we call it as a logically related data items, because all the students will be having their name, all students have their roll number, all students have their combination, yes, all the students are having the contact number, they are very much related with each other, okay. Therefore the definition of the database is that it's a collection of logically related data organized in a way that can be easily accessed, managed and updated. One example I'll give you how the table looks like. Now here we have the table known as the car sold table, or you can see the table known as the student course. We have so many records, 12 records I have here. So all these 12 records are logically related with each other. So and I have stored them in a systematic manner in the form of table, so that I can easily retrieve them. I can easily manipulate, means change them, or I can change any one of the record, and I can easily update any record. This terminology is said to be as the database. I hope you are able to understand. Then where usually this database are used, in which sectors, in which fields the database are being used? Usually the database are used in the banking sector. So in order to maintain the customer information, okay, their account, their loans, okay, whatever the banking transactions they may, whether it is credit or debit, so all that huge amount of data to be stored in a systematic manner. So this database is also used in the banking sector. Then apart from the banking sector, we can also have the database in colleges, usually to store the students' information like course, registrations, grade, marks and all. For that also we need the database. Then credit card transactions. Okay, usually we have the credit card purchase we will be doing, right? So to store the purchase on credit and generate the monthly statements, what amount of bill you have to pay for every month, whatever the purchase you have made based upon the credit card. So for that also we need the database. Then for the sales, okay, for the customers, product, okay, purchase information to stores, usually in the business, like whether it's a medical shops or any kinds of shops, usually at the back end they'll be having the database. That means daily, based upon the daily basis or based upon the monthly basis, they will be storing the data in a systematic format, maybe in terms of the table. That is called as the database. I hope you are able to get an idea what is database. The process of storing the related information in a systematic way that you can easily manipulate, update and access it. Then it is called as a database. Okay. Then moving on to some database terms. Okay. Now this I'll show you. Now these are the tables. Now before to that table we have a terminology known as the file. So what is file? File is nothing but it's a basic unit of storage in computer system. The file is any kind of large collection of related data. So usually in our computer systems we usually store the data in terms of files or no. So what is a file? It's a large collection of related data. If I create a folder name as student, in that particular folder student, I can have the list of the students of PCMB combination, I can have a list of students of CS combination, I can have a list of students of a statistics combination. Therefore the file is a large collection of related data. Okay, then what is a table then? Table is nothing but it's a collection of data elements that are organized in terms of rows and columns. Can you see here all the records, okay, or the data elements are being arranged in terms of rows and columns. So how many rows we are having? Almost 12 rows we are having. And how many columns we are having? 4 columns. Like that we have a table called cars sold, student, course, class, event and the instructors. All these are the tables. Then what are the rows are? Rows are also called as the records. A single entry in the table is called as the record or the row. I can say this one single entry is nothing but row for us. Row is also called as a record. Then what is this record? Its definition is a record in the table represent the set of related data. I can show you here one of the example. So these are the fields. The column names are said to be as fields. And what are the records? Can each entry into the table, each entry, now 6. Okay, car sold ID is 6 here. Cars for sale ID is 12. Sales price, okay, that is 10,600 and the date sold was 2008 6 to 19. Now this is one of the record which is also called as the row. I hope you are able to understand. Then what are the fields? Okay, each column is being identified by a distinct header known as the field. Fields are also called as an attributes. I hope you are understanding. Each distinct header, distinct in the sense unique header. Sales price is an unique header. It's a column, right? Date sold is again an unique header. So each distinct header means unique header of the table, we call it as the field. Car sold ID is a field. Okay, car for sale ID is a field, sales price is a field, date sold is a field. So column names, okay, they are said to be as the fields, or you can also call them as the attributes. Similarly, record is also called as a tuple. Okay, records are also called as the tuples. I hope you are able to understand. So in our next video, with a few more terminologies we will discuss. Thank you students, take care of yourself.